What's going on, guys? My name is Rhydon, and welcome back to Rhydon Hobbies. In today's episode, I'm going to be painting my Forge World Metallica AdMec Kill Team in an homage to the Metallica album Ride the Lightning, which is my favorite album by the band. And the reason I wanted to do this paint job is because, I saw Forge World Metallica, and I thought it just needed that extra L. But I did also say that I wanted to start talking about things a little bit differently, and I wanted to really have a different kind of discussion this time. And in this episode, I want to also have a discussion about counterculture and what has happened to metal over the years. So, recently, a lot of the icons of metal, bands like Slayer, Metallica, and a lot of others, really, their artists and performers have become more and more conservative over the years. And in the vein of metal, one typically thinks of, rebellion and standing against the norm. So it's strange to see a push towards conservatism from these icons, and a rebellion against authority is seemingly an important part. So, for example, since we're talking about Metallica, James Hetfield of Metallica has, typically he tries to avoid politics. He tries to stay neutral in most things, but his views are relatively outwardly conservative, and he's generally associated with either libertarianism or being a Republican. He wrote a song called "The God That Failed," and due to him blaming his mother's passing on religion. However, he also has expressed religious views, and those can be seen on the tattoos across his body. And while there's nothing inherently wrong with being religious or with respecting authority, or even to a certain extent being conservative, we are talking about a band that produced music such as One, which is a song talking about the terrors of World War I. And, For Whom the Bell Tolls, my favorite Metallica song on the album Ride the Lightning, and the one that largely inspired this paint job. It's about soldiers going to die, as the song says, they kill for a hill, and why they do not know. Which I thought was a perfect theme for Warhammer, especially Kill Team. My characters are going out and fighting for an empty church in the middle of nowhere. In addition, Tom Araya, the frontman of the band Slayer, referred to his audience as snowflakes for not liking the president, saying, like him or not, he is the president. And that's as directly in respect of authority as possible from the band Slayer. Now, I'm not actually a huge Slayer fan personally. I like Magic and Might as much as the next guy, but I don't think it's a perfect song. I don't think they're a perfect band. But even I was offended upon hearing that. Not offended in that, I needed trigger warnings or my sensibilities were insulted, but rather I felt betrayed that the very images of counterculture were being turned on their head. In addition, lately, within the metal community, there is a subgenre that is growing and is outwardly genocidal and in support of neo-Nazism, called National Socialist Black Metal, which can only be, attributed to the air quote socialist Nazi party, because real socialism isn't anything like what they're spouting. And it's not, to an extent, that is in its own way rebellion and counterculture. It is saying controversial things. But I don't think it's going the right direction. Heavy metal is rebellious and against authority, but it's often against, you know, corporate greed. I think of songs like Disturbed's cover of The Land of Confusion by Genesis, and the music video in which the guy punches a rich moneymonger who is, you know, destroying society. And, you know, of the songs like the ones I referenced from Metallica earlier that are against the war and against, you know, what people are being told to do. Songs like Black Sabbath's War Pigs, talking about how, you know, politicians are making people die for their own agendas. And to me, that's what heavy metal is all about. I don't really like the direction that metal has gone over the years. It just doesn't seem right to me. And metal has always been a varied genre. You know, there's black metal, death metal, new metal, if you're so inclined to use that one. But none of it is, none of it really means what it used to now. It's still my favorite genre of music. I use mostly synthwave and electronic kind of music for this channel because I try to be kind of a chilled out guy. I try to relax, be easy. But I actually do love listening to the greats. I love Black Sabbath and, you know, Ozzy Osbourne. I love listening to Iron Maiden. Is one of my favorite bands. Although that one is arguably pro-war, depending on how you look at it. I even love songs like Aces High and The Trooper. I love Megadeth. Huge fan of it. In spite of this paint job and in spite of everything I've been saying so far, I'm not actually the biggest Metallica fan. I do love songs like One and For Whom the Bell Tolls, but I'm not really a fan of And Justice for All. I think Master of Puppets is kind of overrated. And they're good. I don't think they're as good as a lot of people say they are. And as when I mentioned with Disturbed, I also like some newer metal. I like Anthrax. Disturbed is leaning more into hard rock now, but I still think they're pretty good. I like new metal bands like Linkin Park. When I was in middle school, the first rock and metal I was listening to, when everyone was getting iPods, we couldn't really afford anything like that. But my dad at Kohl's found a refurbished, someone had returned an MP3 player, and this was before there were laws preventing the resale of returned items that could take memory. So he bought it for me, and it had a bunch of songs on it. It had Guarded by Disturbed, it had Peace Cells by Megadeth, it had Crawling by Linkin Park, it had a bunch of stuff on it. But the one that stuck out to me, and the first one I listened to on the album, and like, I was fascinated with it, was Planet Hell by Nightwish. And, you know, the chanting at first during the intro, leading up until the opening guitar riffs, everything about it was a new world to me. And it kind of meant a change in my raised Catholic lifestyle. And from there on, I just seat myself further in. I listened to everything from the classics, like the ones I listed before, to newer things like Icon for Hire, and I've even been known to listen to Five Finger Death Punch from time to time, even though they are the Nickelback of metal. But overall, I just wanted to talk about this because metal is important to me. Obviously, I'm sitting here painting my models of the Metal Colors game, and I think they look cool, by the way. The Fulgurite Electro Priest, easily the coolest looking one in the line. But I think there's something to be said about the direction that counterculture and culture are going, and it's hard to say what side is right. For those that don't know, I'm very far left. To me, what rebellion means and what authority means is the conservative right-wing agenda, and I'm about pushing against that. So it's bittersweet to hear bands that I love saying things either in support of or in contrast to some of the ideas that they used to stand for. Anyways, this has been Rhydon. Thank you for listening to my little bit of an unhinged rant. But I want you guys to stay true to what you guys believe in. Be rebellious in your own way and live strong and ride on.